Welcome back to The Explainer. So, have you ever wanted something, a real dream purchase so badly, only for it to turn into a total waking nightmare almost overnight? It happens way more often than you'd think. Today, we're unpacking the psychology of buying status, and we're going to explore this through one incredibly relatable story. Let me introduce you to David. For David, the ultimate prize wasn't a sprawling house or some luxury vacation in the tropics. Nope, it was a car. And not just any car. It was the exact car he had always dreamed of. You know the kind of talking about, right? The one that literally turns heads at intersections, the one with that perfect, deep engine rumble that just automatically makes you feel, 20% cooler? For David, this wasn't just a machine to get him from point A to point B, it was the ultimate symbol of everything he wanted to be. Okay, let's dive into this timeline, because this wasn't just some impulsive weekend buy. Look at this immense buildup. We are talking 3 full years obsessively watching video reviews, 6 whole months meticulously comparing trims and models, and for 3 weeks, he just stared at saved pictures on his phone, visualizing himself behind the wheel every single time a similar one drove past. And then, finally, day one arrived. He snagged a big promotion, got a nice bump in his paycheck, and made the purchase. Let me tell you, the day he drove it off that lot, the feeling was absolutely intoxicating. Just incredible. He was cruising through his neighborhood, and people were actually stopping to look. His friends were suddenly calling him up out of the blue, begging for rides, just to experience it. For a few glorious weeks, David felt completely successful. He felt like he had finally, undeniably hit the big time. But then, we arrive at this number, 6. Just 6 short months later, that incredible high, that euphoric feeling of absolute success, was completely gone, just evaporated. The excitement had faded so entirely, and his feelings had swung so incredibly far in the opposite direction that he genuinely wished he had never, ever bought it. Why? Well, because while the emotional thrill vanished into thin air, other things definitely did not. First up, the car payment. Boom! A massive chunk of his paycheck just disappearing every single month, completely like clockwork. Then there's the insurance. Premium rates for a premium car. Just another unavoidable, totally joyless hit to his wallet that wasn't going anywhere. And the maintenance. Premium gas. Shockingly expensive oil changes. Thousands of dollars for specialized tires. Just a relentless, heavy financial drain that never ever took a day off. But, perhaps the heaviest cost of all wasn't even the money. It was the constant, nagging fear of actually damaging the thing. It was the anxiety of parking literally all the way at the back of the grocery store lot. It was the absolute panic every time a stray pebble kicked up on the highway. The mental weight of trying to keep this pristine symbol in absolutely perfect condition was just exhausting. Talk about a clash between expectation and reality. He bought that car expecting this feeling of ultimate freedom, but instead, he ended up completely tethered to a massive, expensive burden. The very thing that was supposed to liberate him had, in reality, completely trapped him. Which brings us to a profound psychological lesson hidden right here in David's regret. It essentially boils down to this. We often buy expensive things for a feeling, not for the thing itself. When you really stop and think about it, it is almost never actually about the polished metal, or the hand-stitched leather, or the horsepower under the hood. What does human nature actually reveal about this? Just look at these true motivators: respect, status, validation, success. David didn't drop a small fortune just to get to work a little faster. No way. He wanted his neighbors to respect his hard work. He wanted that undeniable status of being a luxury car owner. He craved the validation of his peers. He was literally trying to purchase the internal feeling of success. So the crucial point is this creates the ultimate financial and psychological mismatch. Feelings simply do not last. They are just fleeting spikes in brain chemistry. But payments? Oh, payments definitely last. That financial contract you sign outlives the emotional high by years. You are still paying for the thrill long, long after that thrill has packed its bags and left the building. It all really comes down to a hardwired psychological mechanism known as adaptation. This is the human brain's incredible, honestly kind of magical ability to normalize our environment and our experiences over time. Your brain is biologically designed to get used to things. No matter how shiny or amazing or unbelievably fast that new thing is on day one, your brain's primary job is to eventually make it feel completely, totally normal. Let's move to and see how this builds, because this natural adaptation creates an endless, exhausting loop. Step 1. The purchase is unbelievably exciting today. Your dopamine is just spiking. But then, step 2. Thanks to adaptation, that exact same thing becomes totally normal tomorrow. It's just your new baseline. And then step 3 kicks in. Because the thrill is gone, but you still fundamentally crave that feeling of validation and success, you start looking around for the next big thing. You immediately start hunting for the next upgrade. Your brain tries to solve the problem by saying, well, maybe that car just wasn't luxurious enough. Maybe it needs to be a bigger car. Or actually, scratch that, the car was the wrong move, I clearly need a bigger house. Or maybe a ridiculously expensive watch will finally make me feel the way I want to feel. It turns into this wild cycle of endless consumption that never, ever actually satisfies that underlying hunger. Because the fundamental problem, as David learned during those 6 agonizing months, was never really the car itself. The car was literally just a car. The core issue was this deeply flawed belief, the idea that a physical purchase could somehow permanently change his internal emotional state. You simply cannot swipe a credit card to permanently change how you feel about your own self-worth. So what is the actual goal here? It's real financial freedom. And true financial freedom is absolutely not about owning the most impressive stuff to show off at red lights. It is entirely about owning your choices. It's having the autonomy to do what you want, whenever you want, without being chained to some rapidly depreciating asset and a literal mountain of anxiety. David unfortunately had to learn this the incredibly expensive way. But the beauty of unpacking David's story in this explainer is that his painful realization can actually save us from making the exact same mistake. So as we wrap things up today, I want to leave you with a direct question to really chew on. What is the most expensive thing you've ever bought? And looking back on it right now, knowing what we just discussed about adaptation and the psychology of status, was it truly worth it? Take a second, think about it, and share your story with me down in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me as we explored the roots of this psychological trap, and I will catch you in the next one.